Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to our global Nimble community. My name is John Ferrara, and today's a great day. We are going to be telling you about what's new and what's coming in our platform. And before I do that, I'd just like to introduce Michaela. I think that Michaela, say hello to everyone.
Hello, everybody. Happy to be here today.
So I think that we're on this planet to grow, and I think the best way to grow is helping other people grow. And Michaela, you should actually reach out and say hello to Natalie Burdick, who's in the audience today. She walked into the Goldmine offices as a recent graduate from UCLA, and her first job there was a receptionist. And when I left, she was VP of product. And I think that is what we're here to do is if you help people grow on a daily basis, that's how you grow. And I'm just really excited that Michaela is now scaling our marketing team at Nimble, and she's going to be the one presenting the features today. So I'm excited to see that. My name is John Farrar. For those of you who don't know, I'm a software entrepreneur. I solve problems, and most of them are about relationships. And I do it because I struggle with managing them at scale. And it just turns out that millions of other people have the same problem. But the heart of Nimble is contacts. It's contact management, and it always has been. And I think that the CRM features are important, but if you don't build relationships and manage follow up and follow through effectively, then you're going to fail as a business person. And that's what Nimble's all about. So what's new, we're going to cover on our agenda, and then we're going to cover what's coming. I'm not going to read all this. I'm going to talk about what's in the slides that I have in front of me. So as I shared before, I really believe that the biggest cause of failure of CRM is lack of use, and the second is bad data. Lack of use because you work for your CRM, it doesn't work for you, and you have to go to it to do that. And I think that most people live in the places that they connect and communicate with others, and that's email, and now more and more social, and whatever business apps that you use. And that the problem with most businesses or even individuals is that your contacts are siloed in all the places that you have them, whether it's in Office or Microsoft or Google, where email, contact, and calendar are three separate tabs, or in the sales, marketing, customer service, and accounting business apps that you use. And I think what's missing from most businesses is a team relationship manager. That is a contact database that's shared across all team members, because today, salespeople have CRMs, accounting people have accounting, and there is no common contact record. And that's really where we specialize. And I think that the market has recognized that we're doing okay. I think there's a lot of people that want to be baby sales forces. And for those that want a CRM that you have to beat people to use, the reason they call it Salesforce, you have to force salespeople to use it. We're different. We march to a different drummer like Thoreau. So what's new in our recent product milestones? We're going to talk about our contact page redesign, and that we call, there's an acronym, CPV, Contact Profile View. Really, that's the heart of your Nimble. It's the relationships, it's the contacts. And there's two views in there. There's the contact view and the listing view. And we're going to talk about how we've redesigned that and added the ability to share, save segments, and what is the difference between a segment and a tag. Briefly, tags are static. You put a tag on something, it stays there. Segments are dynamic, which means you build a filter, and anybody that fits that filter at the time that you run the filter, that's dynamic, and there's uses for both. We're going to talk about advanced search, because if you put a needle in the haystack, you want to find it. And you need a good way to segment and search contacts. We're going to talk about the Nimble Prospector app, and that's the app that basically plugs into your browser, because I don't think you should have to go to your CRM to use it. I think it should work where you work, in your email inbox and in the places that you're browsing. And we've updated and added Safari and Firefox additions, as well as Microsoft Edge. We're going to talk about enhancements, further enhancements, the contact record. Privacy is important. If you have a team of people using contacts, you need privacy. We're going to talk about the ability to convert contacts between companies and contacts, because sometimes you add a Twitter handle and it's basically a company handle, and you want to convert it one way or the other. We're going to talk about custom fields. the whole thing about CRMs is they're just databases, and you basically need to collect data. And some of that data is data types like strings and booleans and numeric and all those things. And now Nimble has the ability for you to have any types of fields that you want, and the ability to associate contacts to multiple companies and related contacts. And then we're going to talk about our Teams integration. So the contact page redesign essentially gives you a totally refreshed view of the contact listing view, as well as the ability to easily share segments, the Safari extension. And, a lot of people complain about Chrome eating memory and blowing up. Safari does a pretty good job of memory management if you're on a Mac. And so now you could use the Nimble browser plugin inside Safari. We're going to talk about the new enhancements to the contact record. There's a bunch of them. I'm not going to read all this. Michaela will show you a lot of this capabilities, but a lot of it has to do with privacy, because when you put a bunch of contacts into a team database, you do need to control access sometimes. And sometimes uploading files from your local computer is nice. And we're going to go through the new custom fields that we talked about before. What I think is a common use case of this type of custom fields is the ability to import your accounting data into Nimble, because ultimately that's where your gold mine is, the people that you've already sold to. In order to get repeat business and referrals, you need to have the data from the accounting system connected to the contact record in order for you to segment who bought the most, who hasn't bought recently, who buys what, so you can send out emails based off of new products that you're bringing in, etc. And we're going to talk about the multiple companies and employment history, because I think it's important to be able to track where people have worked, and there's a lot of data enrichment capabilities. In fact, when you put a name in Nimble, we'll populate their previous jobs, and now we have a place to put them. And you could segment on that, I believe. I'll have to check on that. We're going to talk about new strategies for importing and merging data, because if Nimble is going to consolidate data from multiple places, there's some protocols that you need to use to do that. We recently launched a biz dev relationship with the HubSpot of real estate marketing, Reliance. And if you are a real estate agent or real estate agents, Nimble is fast becoming a great tool for real estate agents and mortgage brokers. We're going to talk about Teams. Like I said before, in our digital world, we're starting to collaborate more and more with tools like Teams and Slack, and the ability to embed the Nimble contact record inside of Teams to prepare before a meeting, to log the notes during a meeting, but most important, to follow up, is critical to your success. And I'm excited about our Teams add-in. And be sure to go download that from the App Source store. If you have Teams, you should just be able to find it by going to the Teams app, or just use that link right there. You'll get a copy of this deck. And we'd love your reviews on our Nimble app inside the App Source store. So if you are a Nimble user, customer, please go give us a review. We will have enrichment credits for you. And then there's a bunch of stuff coming. We have a new leads pipeline coming. And the difference between a deal pipeline and a lead pipeline is, before you can put a deal into the deals pipeline, you need to be able to engage with that person and qualify that person. That's really like a pre-pipeline. And so now we have a really easy to use UI and system for capturing net new leads. And these leads aren't necessarily people you're selling to. It could be people that you're trying to get to donate to your nonprofit. It could be people that you're trying to get to write about you, PR, influencer marketing, investors, etc. And we're going to talk about the new add-in for Google Workspace. Currently, when you add our Chrome add-in, you get the Prospector add-in in your Gmail. We're transitioning that add-in to a native add-in that Google built with an API. And so you'll need to go and load that new add-in, and you'll get some new capabilities, including if you open up the Gmail app in Android, the Nimble add-in will now be natively inside there as well. And we now have the ability to synchronize your contacts on an ongoing basis from Microsoft 365 and Google. And we've taken the learnings that we did from the redesigning the contact record in the web app and in the Prospector app to our mobile. And I'm really excited about that new redesign. And so with that, Michaela, take us away. And while you transition the screen, I'd like to remind everybody that how we learn is through questions. And so what I'd love to see is questions being posted inside of the question area. And I'll be answering those in the background and collecting those for the Q&A section. And so with that, Michaela, rock and roll.
Thank you, John. So I'm happy to go over everything that we have recently added to Nimble, and then I will also walk you through the brand new Microsoft Teams integration that we have actually publicly announced today. And then I will show you the leads pipelines. I'll show you a demo of that that's still in development and will be coming out soon. And also I'll give you a tour through the iOS app, so which is also coming out soon. So first things first, I want to go through all the features that we have added to the platform because I want to make sure that everybody is aware of them and why we created them and how to use them to make your lives easier. So we started with redesigning the main contacts view because Nimble is a contacts database at its heart. So once you get all your contacts in from all these different places, you want to do something with them. So we want to make it easy for you to segment your database into targeted groups of people and then outreach to them. So we redesigned the UI. We made the contact list collapsible. So you can then, once you create the search, you can completely focus on what is on your screen. If you want it back, you can put it back this way. So in addition to that, you can also configure the table. So depending on why you are creating your searches, you can completely customize the view. You can tell Nimble what columns you want to display, what columns are not important to you, and you can also pin some. So that will basically create like a view that will be more like if you were to freeze columns in Excel. So those are some of the newest updates to the main contacts view. We updated the search as well. So now it's better and faster. You can segment on all the default fields that are native to Nimble, also any custom fields that you or somebody else on your team may have created. And we also made it easier to search on very specific things. So when we were talking about birthdays are great information to capture about your customers and a great way to reach out to them and stay top of mind with them and nurture the relationship with them. So we added specific fields that you can segment on, such as the day and month range. So I could easily pull up all the people that had birthdays in the first quarter of this year, and then I can pull them up here. So then another thing that I wanted to show you, another thing that we have recently added to Nimble are safe segments that John already touched on, and they're very useful in a way that they can save you time because tags, yes, they are the easiest way to organize your contacts, but they're static and you have to manually edit on every single contact if you want to put them in the group and then easily pull up the group of contacts. While segments, once they match the criteria that was set up here. So if I wanted to further refine this segment by people that are actually my clients, I could put it here. So these are all my clients that have birthdays in the first 3 months of the year. So I can save it here. And then it will be showing up on the left side of my screen as well. I can always mark them as important to push them to the top, and I can share it with my team. So if I'm creating important segments and I feel like anybody on my team could benefit from them, save them time on recreating these, I can click on this little lock sign and unlock it for everybody on my team. So just to finish that thought, once you set up these search criterias, as people are coming into Nimble and they match the criteria, they are automatically added to these individual segments. So they are going to be dynamic as opposed to tags being static. You can definitely use a combination of, but these are some of the things that we changed on the main context view. And now when we go on to the contact record in Nimble, we made a lot of changes here. So one of the changes we have made on the contact record is that we gave people the ability to assign the owner and set up privacy groups. So especially if you are using Nimble as a team, you probably can see the reason why you might want to mark certain contacts as private to you. Maybe you are the business owner and you are dealing with investors and you want to make sure that those are only visible to you. So you can mark these contacts as private just to you. And you can also set up custom privacy groups. Those can be set up prior, and as you add more users to your team account, you can be assigning them to these specific groups to make sure that you are not having to go through the list of permissions every single time you are adding new team members onto Nimble. You can also set up the account owner, so that can be yourself or anybody else on your team. This can also be done from the main contacts view in bulk. So if you select a bunch of contacts, they can be a tagged group of people, you can assign them to a specific person on your team in bulk. And when we go under here, under the 3 dots that are very easy to miss, there's actually a lot of very important things that you would want to know about. So I want to make sure that you know that we have added this change log to a contact record. This is very important because many times I have experienced personally that I opened up a contact record in Nimble and I was like, what happened? So here you can see exactly what happened and who did it. So you can also go through this drop-down menu here and kind of filter what things you are interested in if you know exactly what has changed. And we will tell you if somebody did it manually or if that was done via Nimble's data enrichment feature. So this can really help you keep an eye on the cleanliness of your data, and if something is off, you can discover it here and take care of it. So
Michaela,
that's also, yeah.
Can I interject here something?
Of course.
So when you put a name in Nimble, based off of that name, will either suggest enrichments or add them for you. And we can do that 100% based off a unique identifier, a social handle, an email, etc. Or if it's a string, like a name, John Ferrara, will suggest the enrichments. If you accept one of the enrichments, like my Twitter handle, then Nimble would automatically add the known identities. We do that through a variety of APIs. Sometimes the data in those APIs is inaccurate, and that's what this is great for, is to check on that enrichment and to clean it up.
Awesome, thank you for adding that.
You bet.
So another thing that we have recently added, before we get to it, I want to make sure that everybody knows about the find and merge duplicate option. We do automatically match duplicates based on the email address, and for company contact records, it is based on the company domain or the URL. So we will match those manually, but sometimes duplicates happen. So this is how you can identify them and then merge them straight from here as well. So it's under the little 3 dots here as well. But the thing that we recently added is also the ability to convert contacts to company and vice versa. Because as you are bringing in contacts, sometimes mistakes happen, and previously we didn't make it easy for users to convert it. So now it's very easy to do so. So you can do it in here.
I'm just sorry, and interject one other thing. So for those that don't know, Nimble can import Twitter lists. So if you go to somebody's Twitter identity, let's say myself, and you want to find other CEOs of SaaS companies, you'll see that I'm on Twitter lists that people put me on that basically curate these lists of people. And so if you're outreach into, let's say, SaaS CEOs, and you want to bring them into Nimble to then enrich those records and segment them, you might import a Twitter list, and some of those might be companies, and that's an easy way to convert them is to utilize this. And I also got to tell you about our Twitter import list. Thanks, Michaela.
Yeah, of course. I love the Twitter import. It's very easy, especially if you find a good one that somebody took time to curate. This can be a great prospecting tool as well. And then you can directly bring these people into Nimble and have Nimble enrich them with further information. So thank you for that. In regards to next things that we added to our contact record, we added the ability to upload files from your local computer. So in addition to being able to upload from OneDrive, Google Drive, Dropbox, you can also upload from your local computer, and then you will see the attachments here as well. You can also do it from the mobile application as well, and also the browser extension. And one thing that John expanded on the slides is the employment history. So now one contact record can be associated with multiple companies, and you can also see the past employment. So you can definitely use this to create like a great view into the entire relationship with the person and find out as much as you can about them and make it accessible to you at any point within Nimble, and also to your entire team. So once you take the time to really create these rich contact records, then it's available to everybody on the team. So when they open it up, they know exactly what is this person all about, what their company is all about, what is it that they have done before. Or you can see that maybe they are sitting on certain boards, or they have a side hustle or something. So you can now associate a contact record with multiple companies and preview the employment history of the individual from within the contact record. And another thing that we have added to Nimble recently is the ability to make it easier to import and merge contacts. So when you are importing CSV files to Nimble, you can download a CSV file from various different applications. You can go onto LinkedIn and download a CSV file of the list of your connections and then import it into Nimble. And sometimes you are going to be re-importing things. So it's very important to have the ability to tell Nimble what information you want to replace and what information you want to basically just fill in. So if you are, this can be used for a variety of reasons of use cases. So for instance, sometimes you want to scrape your entire database, you want to start fresh. So before you do that, you can export all your data into a CSV file. And then when you are importing the cleaned file, you want to tell Nimble, just replace anything that is left there because this is the data I now rely on, just replace everything. You can also download a section of your database and add to it. So you can give it to a rep, they can fill it in with any information they found out, or maybe they will export a CSV file from a different application. And in that case, you will then be just telling Nimble to fill in this information to a specific set of fields, as opposed to using what's in there and replace it. So we made it easier in the view here. Also, when you're uploading CSV files, we have saved mappings. So we have a list of tools that we already identified what their import CSV files look like, to make it easy for you to not having to map the fields manually. So we will identify them, match them with the existing fields in Nimble, and then you will just be able to move forward, as opposed to having to select the individual ones. So these are the merging strategies that we have recently added. John also touched on our relationship with Reliance Network. So Reliance Network is a company that helps real estate agents to build beautiful websites, create web forms for them. And as agents are capturing these leads, and they are starting conversations one-on-one to them, this is where Nimble really comes in for them. So they can use Nimble to enrich these leads, because many times these leads are completely anonymous. So Nimble will find additional contact information for them, enrich them with social information, giving them more information about who these people are, where they're located, or they can get a better idea of their employment, and they can go in the meeting more prepared and asking specific questions. And then they, of course, will be able to see the rich contact record of the person. So then they will know immediately what has been done with them, what the next steps are, what is responsible for getting them done if used as a team, and most importantly, making sure that they can schedule the follow-ups from everywhere. When they're using Nimble inside of the main app, if they are using it on the web using our browser extension, or if they are on the go, especially now when the world is reopening more and more, they'll be meeting more clients in person, so then they can schedule the follow-ups from their mobile app. So even if you are not a Reliance customer, but you are in real estate, we believe that Nimble is a great tool that can help you to take the relationships with your prospects and customers to the next level. That is the Reliance partnership that we wanted to make sure that we mention. And now I would like to show you what the Microsoft Teams integration looks like. So we have more and more customers that are utilizing Microsoft Teams. So we wanted to make it easy for them to create new contact records, view their existing contact records, create notes and send them directly to Nimble from the Microsoft Teams interface, and then also send follow-up emails. Because if you are just in the meeting or you have just finished the meeting, that's the time you have all the information in your head. So that's a great time to put the information into Nimble so you don't forget it throughout the day when you go through multiple other meetings. So the way the integration works is that you can open up an existing meeting here. You can add the Nimble app, and it will recognize all the meeting attendees, and you'll be able to expand it to learn more about the existing contact record that's already existing in Nimble, or you can create it if it's not in Nimble yet, and then get a quick overview of where they're located, their contact information. You can go and check out their company to learn a little more about what their company is about. You can see their description, the smart summary, including their work experience, areas of influence. You can see where their birthday is, and any additional websites that you can use to really get prepared for the meeting and ask the questions that will help you to create a rapport with these contacts. Creating meeting notes, very easy. So you can create the note here as well, and then click this button, and it will send the note directly to Nimble. So let's review that. So here it is. So feel free to definitely install it and let us know what you think about it. And with that, I want to make sure that I also cover our lead pipelines. So John already mentioned the fact that the lead pipelines are basically a precursor to deals, because for many people, managing deals happens after we actually qualify and build the relationships with people. So it takes time to get to the point when they actually turn into a sales opportunity and a lead. So the lead qualification and relationship building is a really critical part of the relationship and sales process. So this can be used for a variety of use cases. You can also create multiple deals pipelines, so multiple lead pipelines. So I created some just to show you some of the use cases. So you can use it to track recruiting, then completely customize the individual stages here. They can be moved around. Same you are used to doing within the deals. So you can create leads manually. You can also create them. You can also create them from within the Nimble browser extension once this feature is launched, and you will also be able to add them in bulk using an API. So you can connect it to a web form, you can have the leads automatically come onto these individual pipelines, and then make sure that nobody is slipping through the cracks, and then you are keeping up with them, following up with all the steps and resources that are necessary to properly qualify them. And once you have qualified these people and they are actually turning into a sales opportunity, we will give you the option to convert them to a deal, so you don't have to recreate it, and you can take all the information that's existing on the lead contact record and turn them into deal without any necessary data input. So this is one that I created for recruiting. I also created one for real estate. So depending on the process, you can also have several different pipelines here. That was empty for some reason. This is still in my test account. So just to stay on topic with our tech problems today. So let's go into the influencer marketing use case. So again, you can completely define what these stages are. So as you are qualifying people to work with, they can be in the qualification stage. Then it can make they can move into the engagement stage, and then maybe you are scheduling first initial introduction meetings with them. Then you reach out about a collaboration. Then you discuss the terms, and maybe after that you are ready to sign some sort of a contract when they actually start turning into an opportunity, or when they turn into a client and they can be moved onto a different pipeline. So these are the lead pipelines that we are also really excited about. And I want to then go into the iOS application. I will be reviewing it on my iPhone, but at the same time as the iPhone application, it will become available on Android as well. So
I love that that Apple has built the ability to show your screen from QuickTime and record it.
I love it too. It just burped on me, so I had to restart it. So here we are. In the mobile app, you can, if you're using our existing mobile app, you can already see that the menu here has changed. It's been redesigned. So what we are trying to achieve with the mobile app, and basically every single Nimble product, is we are trying to be consistent and transfer the look and feel of our redesigned contact record, the main contacts view, and other places, and expand it into the mobile app. And we've already expanded it into Nimble Prospector. So when I open up John's contact record, now you can see that it looks very different. We love that you can really focus on the person. So another great way that we changed the contact record within the mobile app is that we made it simpler to find what we need to find. So you can quickly go through the person's social profiles, find out a little more about them, see what they have been talking about, what they're passionate about. You can also take next steps. So if you need to reassign this contact record while you are on the go, you can do so from here. You see if they're on your stay in touch cycle, when was the last time you talked to them? Who's the owner of the contact within your team? You can see the smart summary about them. Of course, you can review their contact information, and we made it faster for you to jump directly into notes. So when you are up and running and you really don't have a lot of time to set up the next steps, we wanted to make sure that you can do it in just 2 or 3 clicks. So you can schedule follow-ups as well. You can log any calls, tasks, appointments, and you can send messages as well from here. So you can select from which email address you want to email the person.
We are still in beta.
We are still in beta, guys.
You know, Michaela, one of the things I love about the new UI is the quick nav right there in the top right.
Yeah, we're back. So yes, quick nav. So as you click on the quick nav while you're on the go, you can quickly jump into the interactions, review the interactions history with the contact. You can fill in any data fields or review any specific information that has been logged about your customer, like the purchase history or what is it they actually purchased and when. You can review their company information, social profile information, jump to their bio, or you can also review any attached files while you are on the go. So that being said, I wanted to thank you for watching the presentation. If you have any questions or feedback, please continue to type them in. We will go through them in just a moment. And for everybody using our Nimble products, we would really appreciate if you were able to take a minute or two to review us at some of the most common places where you can review us, like the Microsoft Teams store, or review us in App Store, and also on G2 Crowd. And reviews are really important to us because that's how other customers are making, how business owners are making decisions. They are looking at other people like them and their experiences with the applications they're considering buying. So we would love if you reviewed us. Once you do that, feel free to let us know at care@nimble.com. And as a thank you, we will then apply 100 enrichment credits to your account, and we will continue to refill them for the next 3 months. So you can use these enrichment credits to enrich your contact records, find additional contact information, social information, and save time on research and data entry. So we will also include this slide deck in the follow-up email and the specific links to all these places. And again, if you are able to give us a review, we will be more than happy. And you can let us know that you've done so at care@nimble.com. And let's see if we have any questions that have come in that we can cover.
Yeah, I've got them all compiled here in the shared document. I'm ready to just rock and roll through them. So let's just start at the top. First off, I'd just like to say a star goes to Natalie Burdick for asking the most questions. Natalie, I'm not surprised. Okay, so first question. Are there plans to provide a connector for Power Automate? So for those of you that don't know, Microsoft has a series of tools called Power Automate, Power Apps, and Power BI. These are tools that you could use to integrate into your Microsoft 365 account and to integrate other web-based systems. They base a lot of that data off their Dataverse, and our plans at Nimble, because we are an Azure-based platform that's tightly integrated with Microsoft. In fact, Microsoft is our global reseller. They sell Nimble through their distributors and direct to end users with Microsoft 365 as the simple CRM for Microsoft 365. And so our plans are to shortly expose the data of Nimble to the Dataverse, which would then enable you to select Nimble fields from any of the Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power BI to visualize and report on your data, to create workflow automations and create net new apps, both the web forms and mobile apps. Next question was, just to confirm what I heard, if we have a mix of Outlook email and Gmail users, they can use the same Nimble license as their preferred email client. Yes, if you use Nimble, you can personally use any number of email accounts with that identity. So you could personally use a Gmail account, a G Suite, which is now Google Workspaces, Microsoft 365, an iCloud, an IMAP, or any combination thereof, and each of your team members can also use any of the above. One of the beautiful things about Nimble is if you send or receive an email or schedule an appointment or add a contact inside of Microsoft or Google, that's also then recorded and linked in Nimble, and you could do it vice versa. So it doesn't matter where you send or schedule your appointments, they all stay in sync. Next question is PieSync FreeSync feature being replaced. So we built a relationship with this startup out of the Netherlands called PieSync, and we utilized it to provide our customers with a free limited sync of 2,000 contacts for a variety of platforms. PieSync was bought by HubSpot, and so we do not embed PieSync any longer. We have modified Nimble so that we have pre-built templates for the common applications that you want to import data from. That is not a sync. If you want to sync, PieSync has made it so that any Nimble customer can go sign up for a HubSpot account and get free sync of unlimited contacts. And so you basically just embedding HubSpot into the flow as opposed to PieSync in the flow. Suggestion, I'd love the ability to save space in Nimble and track emails from only client contacts rather than the entire email population. I 100% agree with that. I will bring that to the product team. As you know, Nimble has the ability to show an inbox, and that inbox is all your email. And I think what she's saying is she'd just like to see the email from contacts that are in Nimble. And I agree with that. Another question, do we link to past company, or is the data, how do we link to past company information, or is that data pulled from LinkedIn? Well, back in the day, LinkedIn gave me their public and private APIs, and we did an amazing integration with Nimble and pioneered social selling and social CRM. Unfortunately, LinkedIn wants to monetize the data that we all give them, so they built LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and they have now cut those APIs off to everybody. So we use external APIs to enrich the contact information that is in a contact record. And so for certain contacts, not every contact, we can enrich it with the previous company information, or you can manually edit or add that data through our UI. Is Nimble CRM Contacts and Insights Intelligence add-in for Microsoft 365? So there are a number of different apps that you can load from Nimble. You start with nimble.com. Michaela, let's go to nimble.com. If you sign up for Nimble, this is our main app right here. And this is what you see, Michaela, in is our web app. So if you go sign up here, you then are able to get into here. Michaela, is there a link within our application to all the different apps that are available for Nimble? Do you know?
I believe we should have links to most of them in here. Okay. We should have links to all of them in here.
If not, what we'll do is in the follow-up email that we send, we'll have links to all of them, because there are new apps that may not have been updated in the UI, like the Teams app. But in answer to the question, if you load the Nimble web app and want Nimble inside of your Gmail or Google environment, if you add the Chrome plugin, then Nimble will show up inside of your tray in an email when you open it up. This will change when we go to the native Google Inbox API in order to add Nimble into your mobile apps as well, and into the calendar. And that will happen in the next 30 days or so, in which case you'll need to load the new Google Inbox app from the store. You'll all be getting a link for that. If you want Nimble inside your Microsoft 365 account, as you see Nimble inside of this tray, you'll need to go add that from the App Store. If you look on the far right, you'll see that it says Nimble Contacts. You go to the Get Add-ins there, and there is Nimble in the App Store. And if you click that, Michaela, I think that the name of that app is Nimble CRM Contacts Insights Sales Intelligence Add-in for Microsoft 365. So if you type in Nimble in the app stores, you'll see there it is right there. So click that. So that is the add-in. If you add that add-in, Nimble will be added to your cloud-based Microsoft 365 account. It'll also be added to your desktop Outlook. It'll also be added to your Microsoft Android and iOS mobile apps. If you want it in Teams, unfortunately, it's a different add from Microsoft. It's the way they design their APIs. You'll need to add that to Teams. If you want it in Edge, that's a different app. You'll need to add it from there. I think that I covered all the apps. Oh yeah, there's the mobile, iOS, and Android apps. So I think I covered them all. When will this update be available? Well, there's a number of updates that we talked about. Michaela, can you go to the slide and show the updates, and we'll just sort of go through quickly what's here and what's coming. So everything that's what's new is available. Everything that says what's coming is coming. So leads pipeline is probably a couple of weeks away, as is the Gmail integration, as is the periodic sync for Outlook and Gmail, as is the iOS and Android, and that's it. So those 4 things are probably all, I'd say, July launches. So our dev team has been busy. God bless them. iOS app, do I need to reload, or is it still in development? As we just shared, the iOS is still in development. If you want to get a preview of the Android, we have a beta available, and it's a pretty clean beta. So you can go ahead and email care@nimble.com and let them know that you'd like to get in on the Android beta. Like I said, it's pretty clean. It's looking good. How can I sync past employee emails? Do I have to buy another seat of Nimble? Yes, you need a seat of Nimble for every email account that you're syncing. I'm thinking about this for a second. I don't know what would happen if you created a Nimble account called old team members, and with that, you added all the historical old team member accounts emails to that, if they'd sync, because I think it's ridiculous to have to buy seats for people that aren't there anymore. So let us look into this. Michaela, make a note of that, and also a note of who asked the question, and let's answer that more directly for them. When is this new app interface being released? I think we covered that. What's the time frame for leads pipeline? Covered it. I find the LinkedIn feed doesn't pull my photos and contact records, mostly blank is a problem on my side of the API. It's LinkedIn's greed. Awesome web lead for WordPress. Yes, thank you, David. Missed the beginning. Any plans for automated email follow-up and funnel campaigns? Yes. How about GDPR compliance of the Teams add-in? It is GDPR compliant. Are there any plans to upgrade the inbox feature so we could work only in Nimble? No, I think there's so many email inbox capabilities out there that for us to spend our time to make Nimble's inbox what I would need to live in it, I think is too much work, Roy. So sorry. Thanks for the presentation, Natalie said. Thank you, Natalie. Thanks for attending. And I think that's it. And we're at the top of the hour. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Michaela. Do you have any parting words for us before we go?
Just thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions about anything that is in currently or coming out, feel free to reach out at care@nimble.com. And when you go on our homepage under resources, you can also review our demos and webinars page. Feel free to sign up for any of our training sessions.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Have an amazing Wednesday.
Have a great rest of your day. Thank you again. Bye.